hate losing enough. And I felt that way last year where the boys don't hate losing enough. Right now, it just feels like they don't give a shit. There's just not enough give a fuck factor on this roster right now. And they show up and the game is over early pretty much every single day. The at-bats have been just pussyfooting around. They don't fucking care. So why should we? Do we have a culture issue with these young guys? Like, do they really actually want to win?
I don't know. It rubbed me the wrong way of Butler that one day that, he was 0 for 5, like 4 Ks, and he was like carried to a win or something on his Instagram like 30 minutes after the game. It's like, dude, if I was 0 for 5 in Little League, I wasn't, thinking about anything else for the next week. I don't think there's a culture problem overall.
And I think, it stems down from your manager as well. I don't think there's enough accountability being held towards most of these guys. We talk about, this core is so great. Soderstrom, Kurtz, Wilson. They're here for a while. This team sucks. They're horrible. They're unwatchable. Okay, Kots, you want to talk about toxicity in social media? I'm talking about toxicity on your field. You guys play a bad brand of baseball. Okay, that's my problem with you guys. And that's why fans who have every single right to be upset, that's why they're upset. I'm upset. I know you're upset. Why are you going to flip it on them to be like, yeah, the negativity's bad? The AL West has never been worse. This was your absolute best opportunity to get ahead of things.
Some of it is not on Kotsay, the way that this team is put together, but also you want to see some progression from year to year. And not just because the players get better, you want to see just a better brand of baseball. And they feel like they're getting worse overall. We're now year 4 or 5 of Kotsay, and it's like they just don't – they look like they're the 2022 teams, 2023, where, yeah, they're winning a little bit more, but it's that kind of ugly baseball. So to me, I've been on the let's get Kotsay out of here. I can't stand to watch some of the decisions that he makes, and I'm over it, man. They're losing me, and we are as diehard as you could possibly get.
The main problem here with this team is everything. The homers at A's Cast, such as Shooty, will not call out the managers and coaches. That's why the House Always Wins Media Network is the best place to catch all your post-game stuff. We will keep it honest with you guys. Townie and those boys are great. They love the A's. But when things get hard, when shit is hitting the fan and it's spewing all throughout the room, they will not clean it up with you. We will. Well, how about that intro? That's pretty sweet. Yeah?
That's a good one.
Folks, I going to be honest with you. I don't have a ton of notes, Andrew. Welcome to All on Green. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. It's been a really long season, and we're currently in the dog days now. It's more the same, right? We did have a couple of breaking news situations. I went to Boston. I literally was on an interview with Booney for a last call, and the A's fired Forst. At the time, they worded it as a mutual partition of ways, but yeah, it was a firing straight up. So there's not a ton going on right now, and the A's are bad 100%. They get swept today by the Rays. They're a great ball club. I mean, Rasmussen wasn't even that great today, and he gets the job done. A's are just trotting out some of the most pathetic lineups you can possibly see. It is what it is, y'all. I think there's some positives, obviously, in the minor leagues for sure. And I think Jamie Arnold has looked a lot better as of late. Leo De Vries has looked really good as always, typically. But, from the major league level, the injuries have been too much to overcome, and they're still playing a bad brand of baseball. I thought maybe there was some hope there in Boston where, hey, they took 2 out of 3 from the hottest team in the league after getting shellacked the day I was there. But now they come into Sacramento. Apparently Donnie Walton is like burning sage in the dugout to try to get the boys going, and they 8 runs in the 8th inning of the night, and that's the way it goes. So, yeah, but thank you guys for tuning in, man. We appreciate it. I know it's been a long season. We're just grinding out the rest of the season, and I don't know how many more All on Green episodes that Andrew and I will do. Completely honest with you. We both live pretty busy lives. I'm literally about to move, and the A's are just not worth my time right now. So, well, hey, buddy, thanks for tuning in. You just got here in the nick of time. So how you doing, man? What's going on?
Yeah, doing good. I mean, same old. A's still suck. So another week, and they're finding ways to lose. It's actually getting impressive at this point with the creativity in the way that they're losing. They blow leads. They get off to bad starts. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just every single day it's something else. So pretty pathetic.
And it's just not. I didn't watch a single part of the game today. Typically, during my workday, I'll check in to see how they're doing. But it was 8-2 pretty early on in that ball game, and I'm just okay. It's good enough for me. I'm done. I don't know really truly what the front office is going to do. I have seen zero names to take over as a general manager for the A's. There's been zero rumors of guys. So I mean, currently right now it's Feinstein or Feinstein, however you want to pronounce his name. And is he going to just keep his job? Are we just going to keep rolling with the same guys under this current front office, or is there going to be a complete flush of this toilet? Because in my opinion, it's needed, obviously. But do you have any thoughts on
I was thinking about that last night. I was thinking the right move obviously is to go outside and get someone else. And you look at smart front offices, maybe someone from the Dodgers, maybe someone from the Rays, and you just take VP of analytics or whatever it is, right? But the most A's thing to do is just promote from within. It's like, a Billy Bean disciple, right? Someone that was director of scouting. We've nailed the last couple drafts, so let's make sure we just promote from within. But I don't know, man. I think with the move to Vegas, like if they were still in Oakland, maybe it's just status quo. Let's just get a fresh face, someone that knows the organization. But now they're bringing in Mark Cuban, outside investors. It's like we're going to Vegas, so I do think they're going to revamp. And I don't know, man. I think the coaching staff needs rehaul. Obviously, it was good with Emerson, and then Forst. I text you when that happened. I'm like, this was not mutual. There's no way on earth. And then Ken Rosenthal yesterday said this was very, very ugly, and David did not want to leave. So after 26 years in an organization, I mean, again, I'm sure we'll probably dive in more into Forst and what grade we give him or whatnot. But most of the success that the A's have had, it was Billy Bean, right? Billy stepped away to a more ownership type role the last couple of years. So even like the 2012, 2013 teams that kind of came out of nowhere where, they signed Cespedes, they get Derek Norris, Tommy Malone, Jared Parker, like that was all Billy Bean. And the post Billy Bean era has been this trash for the last couple of years. So maybe they want to start fresh, but I don't know enough front office guys minus like Bloom and Posey and Preller, right? Like I know those kind of big names, but if we talk coaches, I kind of have some ideas of what I hope they do, but front office, man, they better kind of reset.
Yeah, and Bob tuning in here. If the Angels win, then we are tied for last place. Good, man. Tank is on, brother. I'm all for the tanks at this point. We lose as many games as possible. Kurtz was shut down for the year. Jacob Wilson's still out there playing every day. I'm not exactly sure why at this point. And he had some comments to make actually about Forst and the firing, and he said he was the one who drafted me. He was the one who wanted to extend me, and he said it's pretty sad. But, it's a business. He does understand that side of it. But I think his comments are interesting just because I think there is just kind of a softness about this organization right now. And I think it's evident on the field every single day, obviously. They play a soft brand of baseball, and it stems from a lot of different guys. But if it's not the GM mainly to building a culture, that's pretty much on Kotsay. I mean, as a major league manager, what is your job currently to do, right? You don't even make the lineup anymore. What are you doing in the dugout every single day? What are you doing in the clubhouse? You're trying to keep those guys together, and you're trying to create a good core of guys, right? And the A's have drafted a great core of guys, and now, like I've mentioned so many times, the core's here, and they're still putting together essentially a last place team if, like what Bob said, if the Angels win this game tonight. So it's on Kotsay. 100%. It's on your manager. That is literally your manager's job, is to create something. Okay. You need to create a bond between these guys. And it just hasn't been there. And I think it's really interesting of Wilson making those comments and just being like, yeah, it's sad. You know what else is sad, Jacob?
Losing.
Sad. Yeah. It's losing fun. It kind of feels like, man, it's like, I don't love the direction of this organization. And you can point to, I mean, they're playing in a minor league park. It's hard to get motivated for sure. But at some point, we have talked about that just way too much. At some point, you just got to kick that to the side. And there's obviously other issues here. This team just doesn't really want to show up every single day. But, I mean, I get it. It's middle August and you're out of contention. Season's over. So it's tough, especially when you're trotting out, Donnie Walton, and just a couple of weeks ago, Jonathan Aurelius or whatever his name was. They just DFA'd him. At least Geloff's back. It feels like Lawrence Butler's hitting the ball a little bit better. But what can you say, Andrew? It's been a bad year.
How attractive do you think the A's GM job is? And I guess coaching staff. I mean, coaching doesn't really matter as much. Like you said, It's more of the culture and the vibe. And I think all these guys want to be MLB managers. It's not like college football where it's like, hey, I'm waiting for Bama to open up, right? Like Dan Lanning, it's like, oh, is he going to take the Bama job because that opened up? Like, it's not like Aaron Boone, okay, oh, A's opened up, I'm ready to roll. It's right. People want to get in the door, but front office, if they mess that up, they may not really get another opportunity. Managers kind of just bounce around multiple times. So how attractive from a front office perspective do you think this job is?
Going forward, I think it's pretty attractive. And there was obviously reports about Forst who didn't even want to go to Vegas in the first place. I think he wanted to stick it out while they were still in California. But I mean, next year, there's so much unknown. So going forward, I think they were going to have to find a new GM regardless. I think being a GM in a place like Las Vegas could be really, really fun. I think you could attract a lot of good players, but it really comes down to who is going to be the guy going forward, because, we've seen this in other sports, right? In football, if you fire the GM, they're firing the head coach, right? And it happens in basketball a lot. If you fire the guy above him, the guy below him is going away as well. So I think going forward, we probably will just run this season the rest of the way out. The A's could potentially lose 100 games. It's definitely on the table, which is just unbelievable. Mark Kotsay is more than likely going to lose his job here, and I think the entire coaching staff probably goes with him. It's a good thing. I think this needs an entire rehaul, because there's just so many factors of this whole entire thing. And then it stems from who do you get as a GM, right? Who's going to be the guy that's going to come in to the last year of Sacramento and in the first year of Las Vegas and reset this culture and try to get it back on track, because 5 years of this it's been too long. It's been too long of uncompetitive baseball for sure. And I think this is a very vital hire as well from Fisher. It's going to come from him and his baseball ops guys, that they have to make the right call here at GM, because if you continue this early on in your Vegas tenure, that is what really worries me. Just the first couple of years of Vegas and the city not really getting behind them, because we've seen some conflicting reports of the people of Las Vegas. And if you're one of them and you're tuning into us, we appreciate you. You're one of the good ones, right? I think there's a lot of people who are kind of saying, we don't even want the A's here. Like this team hasn't won anything in a long time. And they're right. They haven't really won a whole lot. So I don't know. Bob says Jerry DiPoto for his GM. That'd be
Paul DePates or whatever. Moneyball.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I don't know. I think it's a pretty good job overall. I mean, I think they got a pretty good core. I think you probably have 10 to 12 guys that you're like, okay, we feel comfortable with, and we project them to be plus starters in the major leagues. But I don't know, man. The team in general, they need a new direction. Kotsay obviously is not the guy. And my fear is they're going to give him the beginning of next season. They play bad for the first 30 games. They can him. And then it's like, okay, let's reset midseason where we do have a good young core, which I don't want that. It's like, let's have a year before Vegas to kind of just grow with the team, get a good culture going before we actually head out there. But yeah, I don't know, man.
It's really, but there's still some light at the end of this tunnel, right? Because as disappointing as this season has been, you still have a couple of nice pieces coming up behind some of these arms, especially. I mean, that's where you really need to look at that. The pitching staff has just been terrible, but Bill's chiming in here. De Vries turns out to be a 260 hitter with an average of 15 homers and 60 RBIs. Will the Miller trade look good?
I don't think it looked good, but
yeah,
the trade doesn't look good for the Padres even now, right? Like they wanted to get off Miller and they weren't going to get anything close to the value. So to me, if Leo is that with defense, he's probably like a 2.5, 3 WAR guy in that situation. So I don't know, man. You make that trade 100 out of 100 times. You don't even think about it. We were jumping for joy when you texted me. It was, I remember one of those trades, like the Luka trade, right? Even if you're not a basketball fan, you remember where you were for certain moments. And I remember that I was walking out of my basement and you texted me Forst in all caps. And I was just like, no way. Because we were talking about that before. And I'm like, why would the Padres give up a top 3 18-year-old prospect in all of baseball? So, I mean, again, maybe it's kind of a wash at that point, but I think Leo is kind of all but proven he's going to be a guy, at least in minor leagues. We'll see what happens. But
I need him to run out of the box a little bit more, but yeah, I mean, he's looked great. I think the hustle's not always there from him, but I mean, he's sitting there watching balls off the wall. I need him to go over the wall. That'd be the next step for sure. But he's looked great. I'm just messing around. He's looked awesome in Double-A, and I don't really know exactly what else he has to prove down there. Maybe just improving defense a little bit more, I think. But other than that, obviously offensively, he's handled his own down there in Double-A, it's been great to see that, right? It looks like so far as a 19-year-old kid, he looks pretty good, right? He looks very mature. During the Futures game, he's chatting it up with the other guys. He's beyond his years already, and I don't mind the swagger, just standing in the box. Okay, like whatever. Like the honest, the A's need some of that. To be honest with you, they need some more of that because when guys like Lawrence Butler, who are supposed to be that guy, are having terrible years, yeah, you need someone else to step up and have that confidence for your squad. So going forward, I'm looking forward to Leo for sure, and then Jamie Arnold as well. I mentioned him earlier. He has been pitching very well in Double-A for Midland, and I'm hoping he just stays there for the rest of the year, to be honest with you. I don't need him to go to Vegas just yet. Maybe he can wait on that, give it an off season to kind of let him settle into that. But since June, which is, I think, 11 starts for Jamie, 55 and a third innings pitch, a 2.7 ERA, 1.19, 21 walks, and 60 strikeouts. This is his first full professional season, by the way. So those numbers are sounding great, and he looks good. He looks so much more comfortable, I think. I think he's just getting into a good rhythm here late in the season for a minor league team. That is a great sign to go forward, to get Jamie Arnold going a little bit more, because I've mentioned before in prior weeks, he was struggling a little bit. I think he was giving up a ton of hits at some points, which hits aren't the worst thing in the world in Double-A and Triple-A. I mean, you should still throw strikes at least, but you need him to settle in, get more strikeouts, get guys out, whiffs. And he's been doing that. So this is a sign of good development so far with Jamie Arnold, for sure. I think this needs to just keep growing itself. But then we'll see how he does in Las Vegas. Obviously, that place is impossible to pitch in. That's a whole different ball game. Other than that, we've seen a lot of Tommy White in the major leagues, which he was a decently high draft pick for sure. But he's just kind of a slapdick hitter, which is kind of disappointing for the thought of the guy that we got out of LSU was like, he's supposed to be this, like, he's going to hit the crap out of the ball, power tanks guy. Literally his name is Tommy Tanks. And I don't, he's just like a ground ball with eyes type of hitter. And I'm like, where is the slugging? Like, where is the power from this guy? He still hasn't hit a homer. Finally got his first RBI on a ground out the other day. And it's just like, I mean, sure, he's had a ton of 4-hit games for sure, but it's like at some points, I need you to drive the ball more consistently. Like what JKG did over the last offseason, before wasn't driving the ball whatsoever, improved his slugging percentage tremendously. It's staggering how good it is now. And it's unfortunate that he's going to be hurt pretty much for the rest of the year. I mean, where's the power from Tommy White? Because already at low A, we're seeing it with Drew Burris. Anytime he hits the ball, it's an extra base hit, right? So there's just so many differences between our prospects right now. And I think, do you feel like there's just too many of the same guy, right? Like we have a Wilson, we have a White, we have a JKG. Like all these guys do the same thing essentially at the plate.
Yeah, I think you want one Wilson, maybe two. Someone that, like, I told you this because I wanted Arise, and Giants obviously signed him this offseason. And I'm like, dude, you have Wilson, Arise, and then you have Kurtz, Rookers. Like, that's a great one too. But they have like 3 or 4 of the same type of dudes. And I think there's a lot of power waiting in the lower minors. I think obviously Devin Taylor is on an absolute tear right now. And then, like you said, with Drew and Single A. So I think reinforcements are coming. I think they have enough position players to kind of make do. But Arnold's going to be interesting. I think Jump has kind of proven like he's going to be a guy. And I think he's got like, maybe a 2 or 3 on a good rotation playoff team. And then Lynn, obviously super bummer with Tommy John surgery. But those, you can come back a little bit quicker and the reoccurrence is not as high as it used to be, 10, 15 years ago. So, I mean, I think that 3 is, Mulder, Hudson, Cito type of potential there. But I'm curious what they're going to do with Arnold, because Vegas has just got to ruin the confidence for so many guys, so many pitchers, where they go in there and it's like, hey, I'm great. And you go in and you give up 8 runs in 4 innings. You're like, maybe I suck. And you start messing with your windup and different pitches and whatnot. So I wonder if they're just going to keep him in Double-A and then go to spring training. And if he just balls out in spring training, maybe they just do an extension where they feel like, hey, we could put him in the big league club to start the season. And I think they should do that with Leo as well. And maybe that's the plan is, it's a little different for a hitter. I mean, Tommy White was hitting 330, 340. Bolte was hitting like 380 in AAA. So I think they might be a little scared off with extensions now, but those are 2 guys I think I'd, kind of back there. But one other point I did have on Forst, or kind of, John Fisher, might be a controversial take. A lot of the fans nowadays are Oakland fans, right? Where they cared about the A's when they're in Oakland. And you and I have said that we would follow them to Timbuktu, it doesn't matter where they are. We're A's fans first and foremost. So a lot of people hate John Fisher, and I think he's not a perfect owner. I think he's done a lot of things that I'm like, I wish he would have spent more money. I wish that he would have cared a little bit more earlier on, especially when this team felt like they were one of the 5-6 best teams in baseball, right? That 2018, 19, 20 stretch, it's like, dude, just one or two more pieces were there. And there's two things that I think he's done really well. One of them, the stadium was never going to get done. That's what everyone said, right? They're not going to break ground. Then it's a parking lot. Then they're not going to get the funding. Now it's like you got Mark Cuban, one of the smartest businessmen in America, is now investing in your team. That I go to Vegas once every other month, and the stadium is just absolutely, coming up quickly. It's on track. The funding, all that stuff, whatever. So that's one, is he's going to get that done. He got the move from Oakland to Vegas. It's all but done now. The team value is already doubled, and that's without even owning a stadium, no ticket sales, nothing like that. So they're estimating it's going to be like a 9 to 12 most valuable team in all of baseball, and they're going to get an expansion NBA team. They have the hockey team. They have, basketball tournaments and everything, summer league. So Vegas is popping. And the other thing so that's one. The other thing that I think he's done well is the firing of Forst shows me that he cares and that he's more involved than we think he is, right? Where he's like, hey, we're going to go to Vegas. I want to win. Like last offseason, he said, hey, you can have the most expensive, or 2 off seasons ago, you can have the most expensive free agent signing in our history with Severino, right? You can have the largest extension with, was it Soderstrom? I think got the largest one. And then we'll sign Wilson, we'll sign Rooker. He cares. And I think that he's getting more involved. He wants to make sure we have a winnable team going into Vegas. So, I think we kind of bump the brakes and let's give Fisher a chance to see how he's going to be an owner in Vegas, because obviously ticket sales, and no matter how good the team was in Oakland, they were still averaging 10 to 12,000 fans a year. And you and I were there Wednesday nights in August when the team is 15 games over 500 and no one shows up. And then all of a sudden these Oakland fans, they see, hey, how could the team leave Oakland? Look at this. Everyone's here, 45,000 people. It's like, yeah, this is a Giants game where 85% of the people there are Giants fans, or it's the wild card game where I hope people show up, right? Like the Rays fans show up, the Pirates fans show up. Like, of course people are going to show up there. So I don't know, man. It's just like, if you're watching this, clearly you're an A's fan. It's just, I'm sick and tired of the Oakland type of fans. It's like, dude, root for the team, or just, don't find your whole personality and your whole Twitter personality is commenting on the A's stuff and just hating life. It's like, just relax, right? Like, let's give Fisher a chance. I think he's proven some stuff, and I don't know. So that's my rant.
That I was going to save this for the end, but this is part of my ball trip too. I was in line with my fiance. She was trying to get some popcorn in Fenway Park, and I was just hanging out. The game is, it's like 12-1 at that point, whatever, right? And this lady comes up to me. I don't realize she's wearing what she's wearing. Okay, she just comes up. She goes, "You a long-suffering A's fan?" I was just like, "Haha, yeah. Like it sucks. We're having a tough year." And she was like, "Yeah, I'm from Alameda." I was like, "Oh, great. That's really cool. What do you like? Are you here because of the A's?" And she was like, she's like, "No, I'm wearing my Ballers hat." And I didn't even realize she was rocking a Ballers hat. And I was like, "Oh, yeah. Cool." And then I'm like, she's like, "I just can't believe like anybody would support the A's still." And I'm like, "Well, you're here." So, and then I'm just saying like, well, the Ballers have their issues too. Like they're being sued and they can't afford it. It's a Pioneer League. Like, who gives a shit about Pioneer baseball, bro? Like, get a life. And she's just like, "Yeah, well, the A's probably could have got something done in Oakland, but it was the Davis family and the Raiders. The city blew too much money." I'm like, "Well, I don't think you know anything about this situation at all." No. So I was like, "All right, lady, you have a nice day." And I'm just like, the initial thing is just like, she hates the A's, and then she obviously hates Fisher and the entire organization because they left, right? And I think Booney has gone over this. A lot of A's fans who are still stuck around through the move, they all understand, like, the city is just as much to blame as the A's are. Like, it was never going to get built, and the A's are going to have to wait another 10 years to probably even put a shovel in the damn ground. So, yeah, the MLB was saying, get out. You have to leave now. The Coliseum is a dump, and this is another point I was going to make about my Boston trip, okay? Everyone, I used to do this too, okay? I was guilty of this. I'd be like, people would say the Coliseum is old. And I'd be like, yeah, so is Fenway and Wrigley. Okay. I went to Fenway. It's the cleanest ballpark I've ever been to in my life. It's like it is pristine everywhere. And you're like, this ballpark is old, right? It is spotless everywhere. Bathrooms, great. Yes, it's old, but it looks great. Lines, perfect. Everything was great in there. Okay. And it's filled to the brim every single night there. perfect. It's a perfect ballpark. It really is. But Coliseum, dude, you'd see bird shit everywhere. It was a dump. You'd see animals running around. It's terrible. Okay,
sewer leakage.
Awful. You needed to get out of that place, 1000%. And I love it, but it's time to move on, dude. It's a shack, and it's just an ugly concrete shack at that point. So, yeah, and we got hated the cell shirts. The lady also mentioned, she's like, I forgot my cell shirt. I'm like, that's really going to do a lot. He's done so much, right? He really cares about that a lot. I think Fisher will be in Vegas for a couple of years, and then he's going to sell the team for a gajillion dollars. He's going to make a fat profit off of this team.
Yep.
And that's what business is, baby. That's what this is. It's a business. Yes, I think everybody truly wants to win at the end of the day, but if it's going to lose you money, if you don't have an ROI, then what's the point of going all in, right? You need to think like an owner sometimes. You need to think, if I had all that money, what would I do, right? And he's already clearly made a mistake on a couple of extensions here. So you need to be smart about what you want to actually do with Nick Kurtz, because he's clearly laughed at a couple of your offers. Shea Langoliers has laughed at a couple of your offers. So it's like, okay, I need to be smart about what I need to do. Booney tuning in. Not sure if you guys covered, but what did you guys think of the Wilson Kotsay reaction to Wilson airless being snapped? Did you see this?
I did.
They hugged. Yeah. Again, I did kind of touch on the softness of this organization and the Mark Kotsay culture. It just feels very soft. And we've known this since the social media stuff, when he was talking about Lawrence Butler, how there's a lot of toxicity on social media. It's like, we had another comment up here about, I need to go back to it. Sorry, this might take me a minute. If it says, if Lawrence Butler spent as much time on his game as he did on social media, he would be a hell of a ball player, essentially. Here it is from Bill. If Butler spent half the time on his hitting, defense, and running as he did on social media, he'd be a halfway decent ball player. See, it's like those kind of things. It's like, if you're worried about what people are saying about you online, and if you're worried about like, an error streak, it's like, Andrew, what's his range factor? Like what's his DRS?
Yeah, I think it was like -15. I sent you it right away. Once I saw the airless streak, I'm like, wait a second. Like, did his defensive WAR go up, or his range, or defensive wins, whatever? And he's literally one of the worst shortstops in baseball. So the eye test, like, he can get things to him, of course, but he's always kind of just been a little slow. He's better suited at second base. We were on that preseason, but I don't know, man. Kurtz didn't cry about not getting a walk, right? Like, Kurtz would rather hit 2 homers in a game than have his walk streak go. Like, I don't know, man. We're caring about the wrong things, and Kotsay just enables this, where he's like, dude, I'm so sorry that you made an error. And it's like, I'm going to go up to the stat keeper right now and just say, hey, are you sure? I think it was a hit. Because 2 hours later, it gets back to
unzip his pants and give it a hit. All right.
Yeah, it's stupid, dude. And again, that's the culture issue, and that's what Kotsay. He's been soft, and he was crying at the media, and this team is soft, and Butler gets defensive, and I don't know, man. It's just I said it last podcast, but all in are in the way. It's like, dude, I'd rather take someone 80% of the talent of some of these guys that are bought into what we're trying to do, and going to Vegas and being happy that they're in Sacramento, knowing that they're going to be. There's going to have so many eyes on them going to Vegas. Like, it's exciting. Like, why would you not want to be a part? And if you don't, ask to be traded, man. Like, Kurtz, if you don't want to be here long-term, we can get a fortune for you. We can get some major league pitching. I don't want Kurtz to get traded, obviously, but I don't know. All in are in the way. And I think that should be the model for the next head coach or manager.
And that's what really concerns me about Shea Langoliers too, because it's obviously, dude, I don't think you and I have even spoken on camera about this. The haul that the Red Sox had to give up for Adley Rutschman, who, I mean, Adley is a fine player. I love Adley. Obviously, he's a Beaver, but he hasn't been up to his 1-1 potential. Not even close, in my opinion. I think drafting a catcher that high is just so risky, and I don't love. He probably should have moved him to first base immediately. He plays a pretty good first base. He did it at Oregon State a little bit.
Bobby Witt was second, by the way, in that draft. So.
See that, and like, what did the Red Sox also need at this deadline? They probably needed a shortstop, because they're playing like Montecero, and he struggles out there. And it's funny because Adley it's a good defensive catcher for sure. He's going to do a lot of good things behind there, but they already had Connor Wong. Like, they had good defensive catchers as it was. They wanted a hitter. Adley Rutschman is kind of turning into, more of a protect me, slap dick and hitter. It's like he's really lost his ability to slug the ball these last 2 or 3 years. He's had a better year, I think, offensively this year, but Boston gives up way too much. And now they give it up within the division. So now they're going to have a pitcher who was number 2 in their system.
Yep.
Going to be haunting
top
him.
50 prospects.
Well, they're going to be haunting him forever.
And I think he's in high A or something, or double A, something like that. I remember I was going through the Red Sox top prospects list and I was kind of looking at stats and everything. And he was at like 12 or 13 Ks per nine at like a 1.2 ERA. And he's like super young. So, I mean, he's going to be a top 25 prospect going into next season. And Shea is, what do you think Adley is? Maybe 70% of the player that Shea is. And Shea had longer, like a whole extra year of control. So, dude, I saw that. I just shook my head. I'm like, of course, thanks, Shea.
I know. And there's a lot of people who are saying, like, why would you trade Shea Langeliers? That is why you would trade Shea Langeliers, like right there. Because what do the A's need so badly right now? They need to bulk up their pitching. And that would have helped so much. Unfortunately, you just couldn't do it. I understand. Meniscus tear, it sucks because that was the time to do it, unfortunately. And it just backfires on you. And when things blow up on you like that, and the A's pretty much make zero moves to do anything, which some people, I am a little shocked that Jonah Heim wasn't moved, just because a switch hitting catcher who is kind of surging at the right time, whatever. He probably gets you a nobody prospect, and you might have to, like, well, maybe one day he'll be in double A. So Forst is put in a tough situation there. And I think there's so many things that culminate to his firing. Obviously, it's the offseason moves. It's the poor signings of filling guys and just gap guys who were just terrible, right? The drafting has been great. I don't know how much Forst truly has to say in who they draft. I feel like that's more of a Kubota thing, head of scouting thing. But Forst did a lot of good things. He also just didn't do enough, right? He didn't take us to the next level whatsoever. And I think he just missed on the things that he missed on were just too big to ignore, right? And I think the Lawrence Butler signing is one of them for sure. And then like Barlow, Leiter Jr., not doing nearly enough to bolster the bullpen after you just moved on from one of the best closers in the game, right? And that is what's going to hold back the A's this year. And what's stupid, too, is it hasn't even really been the ninth inning. The A's have given up the most runs in all of baseball in the eighth inning. In the eighth inning. Is Mason Miller pitching in the eighth inning? No, he's not. So there's just a lot of things that just didn't go right. And so now it's Emerson and it's Forst. Kotsay's obviously next, and then we'll see from there. Who they want to go after is going to be really interesting. There's just, do you go after a young manager who's in the minor leagues right now, who's maybe surging at the right time? Do you call up Kurt Suzuki and say, do you want to get out of Anaheim? You call up another former A? Like, what do you do here?
You got to get rid of the A, man. Same with the front office. It's like, it's not college football like Morgan Scalley taking over Utah football, right? It's like, oh, hey, or Jonathan Smith, right? He was a Beav, right? That's what the whole thing was, and then he came back and
quarterback with Chad Johnson.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So like a little bit different there, but I don't know. I had two names and kind of curious your thoughts. One of them is Rob Thompson, like that type of manager, Phillies former manager, low 60s. Got way too prematurely fired. I mean, he had back-to-back seasons of pretty much excellence, and they were in the World Series. Good manager, knows baseball, been around the game forever. And then if you want to go young, is it someone like a Chad Pinder? I know I said get rid of the A, but it wasn't like he's a legend for the A's, a legend for us. But he's mid-30s. He's now the White Sox AAA manager. So do you want to go there and get some youth, or do you want some experience? So kind of curious, are you leaning more towards, hey, go after the experience or the youth there?
I think this team needs experience more than anybody. I think I need that seasoned veteran just manager who's been around a lot of things, right? And I think Thompson is a good name to look at for sure. I think going forward, the A's just need – obviously you're not going to get that like Bruce Bochy type leadership at this point, but that is what I'm kind of thinking, right? That's along the lines of what I would like to see in our dugout every single day because, like I said, you're not making the lineup anymore. You're just out here making in-game decisions and bullpen stuff, and even that is probably – buzzed down. Hey, you're going to go to this guy here. Okay, get him up and warming. It's really about building a culture, man. It's just about we need to win now. And I think a lot of this, the guys need to just relax in big situations too. I think a good manager can help them in those situations because this team was on the cusp of having a good season and then they falter and then things just spiral so fast for the A's under Kotsay. And that is where good leadership can just let's stop the train here, okay? Let's fix some things. Let's get off of it. Let's fix it, and let's keep going. I just don't think that happens under this Kotsay regime and this current coaching staff. It's all the same guys. Everybody is the same from year after. Some of these guys a lot of these guys were here when Melvin was managing, and it's just like, can we move on from some of these guys? Clearly, it doesn't work, and that is what frustrates me the most about this organization, just because they have so much talent. And yeah, the injuries have been terrible this year, but you see it. Like when Geloff comes back, he immediately just starts mashing the ball. And Jacob Wilson, even playing hurt, is still a pretty productive player. And we shit on him a lot, but Lawrence Butler has looked a lot better the last handful of games here. He hit a tank today to right field when the game was over, obviously. Soderstrom worries me just because I feel like he never does anything of value in big spots. I think he reminds me a little bit of Josh Reddick in those situations where it's like the game's 13-2 and he homers, and it's like, cool.
And he's pumped. Josh Reddick, whenever he hit those homers, pouring out to right field, he's like wearing the belt and stuff. So, man, I don't know. It's interesting because I feel like I was thinking about that again when I'm sadly up at night with a baby and just sitting there thinking about the A's and thinking about what they should do and whatnot, like my input matters. But I was just thinking, I'm like, they don't have a lot of guys that care about winning. But then at the same time, it's like, why should these guys who are fighting for their lives care so much about winning, right? Like, if Freddie Freeman on the Dodgers goes 0 for 5, or he has to stretch a week of going 2 for 28 with 14 Ks and they win, he's like, whatever, I won a World Series, right? But if Tommy White does that, it's like, I may never play in the bigs, right? Or Max Muncy. And so it's hard to, have everyone be, hey, I wanted to be a team player. I'm going to, run out second, less than 2 outs. I'm going to hit the ball on the right ground, on the ground to the right side, get the guy over. And the stat box, it looks like not just a normal out. And if you care about winning, that's a productive out, right? So I think they got a lot of guys that they want to try to prove something. And I mean, I get it. Like that's the problem. And I think Kotsay and I think the front office hasn't done a good job instilling a lot of confidence for years. And this goes back to even Melvin. And again, one of our favorite names in the podcast is Franklin Barreto, but it's that type of guy that they get all excited about and then they just toy with them forever and it screws up their career. And that's what I'm worried about, like an Arnold and, even Muncy asking to play at a position where the bat looked like it could be something. And then it's like, okay, I'm going to get mental over, trying to not make mistakes in the field. And then he carries that to the plate and, hey, I'm going to go down and up after a week. And, I don't know. So they don't still have a lot of confidence, but again, it's just kind of hard to have team ball when you're, going to lose 105 games.
And I think losing is contagious, 1,000%. And I love the Lawrence Butler jokes are always great just because the social media stuff. But he didn't post his homer on Instagram today, which was, I think, a step in the right direction. So. Yeah, not yet. Sorry. Yeah. So he hasn't probably been on. They're probably on right now. He's probably sleeping. So, but that's the kind of like the little things right there. It's like the details of your organization. It's like you just lost the game by 7 runs. The minute you got into the clubhouse, your phone, he reposted his homer. It's just like, is that really important? Like, we all saw it, Lawrence. It's okay, dude. Like, you don't have to show us again. Like, it's fine. Like,
and you got the extension. Like, who cares?
It's not all me, bro. Like, that's what the little things like that kind of piss me off. And they're young guys for sure. They like to post on Instagram. Some of them like to do it for the likes for sure. You see that a lot in like college sports too. It's like, they'll be in the weight room, they'll lift one thing and just like they get posted once and they're like, I'm putting in the work. It's like, are you? You guys went 3-9 last year. It's like there's a little bit too much of that. And I think like I've made this joke a lot, but like Soderstrom's like halfway with the emoji, and I'm like, do we care about winning?
You got to do the Bryce Harper, dude. That guy goes all out every time he gives that sign. And I don't know, man. Again, it's hard to find a Bryce Harper. He's probably, I've told you that, top 3 favorite athlete of all time for me. If anyone cares, Steph Curry and Tim Tebow, the other two. But but it's just those kind of guys that like, dude, Bryce was so hated when he came up. Think about that, where it was like, this guy's a D-bag. He doesn't care about winning. And then it shifted where it's like, Bryce is like the guy, right? Where 110% every single time, cares so much about the game. He's 34, almost turning 34 in, I think, a month or two. He's been doing this forever. He's a Hall of Famer. And it's like, he cares so much every single at bat. And these guys, he's not going to social media after the game if he hits 2 homers, right? It's just, I don't know.
He's
and then
doing
even
get ready with me's. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's true. I brush my teeth and stuff. So, I mean, that's my point though, is I think he homered the day before that. And he's just like, hey, look how I brush my teeth. But I mean, his GM called him washed and he's wearing the wash shirt. Like he just cares what people think. And he's got that like edge. Like some of these guys, like it's not bad to take some of the negative things that people say about you and be like, I'm going to prove them wrong. Right. It's a different to go to Twitter like Josh Reddick, and he blocked you back in the day because he was offended by something. He'd, go look at his name and then see what people would say about him.
Brett
That's
Anderson,
not motivation, right? So, I mean, I don't know. You can use it for motivation, but none of these guys are, I think, mature enough to use it for that reason.
No, and I think what Reddick was probably weighing with the he's playing with the spin bananas at one point. It's like, all right, but come on now. Bill, my thoughts on the way Heim wasn't traded because they'll re-sign him for 2 years, $18 million, and trade Shea in the offseason. And if the A's do that, Jonah Heim will immediately become the player he was in Atlanta.
Yeah, that's and if they get rid of him, he's going to be the all-star like he was in Tampa, right? So I don't know, man. He that's actually I don't hate that move. I think catchers are not that important. I don't know if that sounds right, but it's like your point. It's like, why would you take Adley 1-1, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I do. Bryce, great TikTok. That's the only reason I use TikTok is to see Bryce's videos there. So that's my guy.
He's a very healthy person. My fiance loves Salt and Stone deodorant and their products, and he's like, I use Salt and Stone, and I'm like, he's doing something right.
He's the guy. He's got good hair. So
he is. Last thing I wanted to touch on again with Leo De Vries. Caminero hit a homer. I think it's 35th of the year, middle of the A's game, and De Vries is posting that homer on his Instagram too. I think that rubbed a lot of A's fans a little bit of a weird way. Why are you posting homers against your own organization? Whatever. He's 19 years old. I think he's just excited for his guy for sure. And I think it's just like it's a camaraderie, like brotherhood kind of thing. When you have, guys from your own country, guys you've played with before, like you want to be excited for those guys, right? I think someone needs to tell Leo, like, hey, time and place, like there's a fan base that's probably going to take offense to you posting a homer against their team, right? So what did you see that at all? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that was weird. And again, like if it was, he's playing the Pirates and he hit the 3-run homer, it's like, oh yeah, it's a brotherhood. I think they're both from Dominican Republic, right? So I mean, I get that, but it's literally to take the lead against the team that you're probably going to be in the organization for the next 10 years minimum. So it's like, it just did not make any sense. And again, some of the stuff where it's like he hit that absolute no doubt homer to take the lead or to tie the game, I think in the 8th inning, and took a while to get out of the box. Didn't really care about that one. It's like, yeah, some swag or whatever. He had one that hit off the wall and he was hustling to get to second. And it was like, those are the ones where he took it some time out of the box and, probably could have got to third. It's just those little things where it's, again, I'm like, he's 19, like the skill's there. And to give him the benefit of the doubt, he got traded and he was on a plane, and I think he was in high A the same day and in the lineup right then with A stuff on. Like the dude balls and he wants to win. I haven't seen him complain or anything about still being in Midland, which we're complaining as A's fans of why he's not up. So I don't know. 19, so we all do dumb things and it's kind of hard to hold him accountable, but I think it's someone should pull him aside and say, hey, maybe not.
Yeah. Not a ton to really put into that. I think it's at first it's kind of like, hey, Bubba, let's just think about what we're posting here. But at the same time, like, he's excited for his guy. I get it, whatever, man. And Caminero is an incredible ball player. I'd kill to have a guy like him in my lineup, but whatever. I get it. It's cool. Leo's going to be a guy for us. I'm fully invested in him. I hope he's available at some point next season if we play baseball to get on the field at the major league level. I think he's going to be close. Once next year starts, he's going to be close. And same with Jamie Arnold, honestly. So those guys are going to be really interesting to watch going forward. And then Drew Burris too, man. If you guys haven't checked it out, Booney had him on the Port Report. Please go check that out. Great interview. Awesome. Drew is a awesome dude. He's got so much confidence already. I love the Georgia Tech. I love guys who rep their college, man. It's just something about it. And he's repping the GT chain all the time. He's looked great so far. There's been a couple of games where he has a tough day, but when he hits the ball, he makes a statement for sure. And Alex Sosa, too, the catcher who they got out of Miami, he's looking pretty good so far as well. He's got a good, short, compact swing. So I love this draft so far, man. And a lot of these guys are already in Stockton, producing already. It's exciting. So if you don't want to watch the A's, check in on the minor league teams and watch how they're doing. If you have time to go to Stockton and watch them before their season ends, go do it, man. I think it's one of the best minor league parks in the country. And it's always a great time to go to Stockton, especially when all these young guys are popping right now. It's a really good time. And it's also a great time to get a picture with the guys, get the autograph, invest now. That's what I'm saying. So avoid the A's, watch the young guys. I know it's a cycle that we do a lot as A's fans. We have to go look for the prospects in our organization before they get to the major league. And then they get to the major leagues and they're still in last place. So, it's just kind of how it is. But
still sucks. So you can have excitement though.
Because Scott Blewett's coming to the ball game and Seth Johnson just gave up a 7-run homer. You're like, oh my God, who least we got rid of Colby Thomas. That's the only thing.
Every pitcher's Jim Johnson, it feels like. So
that's what that literally did. Jim Johnson in A's uniform with nightmares, dude. Nightmare.
Brian Fuentes.
Oh, he had some moments though, but yeah. Until Balfour
last
took
year
over.
was so bad.
It is terrible. It is so terrible. Jesus. God, those A's bullpens though, once they figured it out, Cook, Doolittle, Balfour.
Blevins, like lefty specialist. Every single person that threw out there. I mean, even Lou Trevino's and the Blake Shrinans, like 2012 to 2021, minus a couple of years in between. Those teams were just electric bullpens. So
Billy Bean. When the A's picked up Blake Shrinan, everyone was kind of like, this guy's got like a 14 ERA. Like he pitched in Oakland this year and he gave up a homer to Yonder Alonso. Like, why did we get this guy? And you watch it and you're like, oh, I see.
I legit think he probably was the nastiest A's pitcher of my lifetime. I mean, Miller's nasty too, but it's different. Like Shrinan's stuff was just, it was more electric than Miller.
Miller's stuff isn't really, I think it's just straight, it's
there's 104.
And but with Shrinan, like he'll throw that sinker at your belt. It'll be just to a lefty. It's just bottom half of the zone every single time. You're like, that's insane. How do you hit that? So though I want us to get back to that, man. I want us to getting back to finding gems because the A's been picking up guys every now and then, the Royals DFA'd a guy. Okay. The Brewers DFA'd a guy. It's like, I don't think these guys are going to amount to anything currently. It's just pitching in Sacramento is difficult, but I mean, everybody else seems to be able to be fine to pitch in Sacramento. Like everybody comes into Sacramento and just shoves it against us. But no, it's a tough place to play. According to Jeffrey Springs, we're pitching in a PCL park. It's like, buddy, you've given up a million homers everywhere. It doesn't matter where you pitch.
His splits aren't that different that he can make any comments.
No, he's just trying to find excuses. And what are excuses for? Losers. Okay, that's what this is. This team's full of excuses and losers. That's what it comes down to. And we're hugging about air streaks, even though the air streak isn't over. And I love Jacob Wilson, man. I think when I was in Boston, I tweeted out a picture of my seats, and Jacob Wilson made a nice play with the infield in. He dove to his right, got the out at first, held the runner back at third. And I was like, Jacob Wilson's the only guy in the field worth a shit today. I think I said in the organization, obviously, I was, I had a few Samuel Adams Summer L's that day. Okay. Give me a break.
Yeah, the truth is coming out.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, oh yeah, Nick Kurtz isn't on the field right now. That's my bad. So
that's why.
Boston was great, man. I had a great time, and the A's suck. So they won that series somehow. So that was cool. But hey, man, any last words before we get out of here?
No, just same old. Team sucks. And man, I hope next time we do pop on is Kotsay is gone. And I don't know. Again, I think some individual performances have been promising. I think Jacob Lopez, we didn't touch on him. He's been electric the last 6 or 7 games. And he's been kind of the Jacob Lopez that we thought he would be coming into this season. So, and that's what we said last podcast was, can some of these guys like a Morales or Lopez or Perkins? No, but can some of these guys step up and say, Tur, and I think they got 1 or 2 guys in the bullpen I think is worth anything, and I think they're going to have to rip and replace the entire rotation minus Arnold and Jump in the future, and hopefully Lynn. But Lopez, I don't know, man. He looks good and a lot of strikeouts, and I don't know. He's not the Tommy Malone guy. He's not at least he throws like low 90s, 90, 92. So I'm still holding out some hope for him. I think he could be at least like a 4 or 5 in a rotation, like those. A 4-2 kind of guy that is the quality start, 6 innings, 3 runs, pretty much every game. So.
That'd be so huge to have a guy like Lopez just find a groove for an entire year because, the command is always a thing with him. So it's been nice to see him kind of get back into his last year self just a little bit. I know he's got great potential, and I think he is one of those gems that just needs to be consistent. And I think if he can do this and finish the year on a high note, I mean, currently the A's, as we stand, there's 3 starters right now who are doing a lot of good things. It's Ginn, it's Jump, and right now it's Lopez. So it's just really Perkins and Barnett. Those guys, I'll see you later. I don't need to see them anymore. But if they can just keep – this is what I was talking about on last call with Booney when I was in Boston. If they can just find something to build on, then we can have something good going into the offseason, right? That 8-run 8th inning against Tampa really derailed that like short feeling of like, hey, all right, we're playing some good baseball. But that set the boys back. It's just like this has been a 1 step forward, 2 steps back type of season, maybe even 3 or 4 steps back. So I hope we can find something positive to talk about to end August and going into September and into our offseason. But as far as I'm concerned, I I swore on Oregon State football and the Raiders, and we will go from there. But I'll be keeping my tabs on the A's as much as I possibly can. Going to be honest with you guys, to the people who are watching and who will watch it later, I will not be watching a ton of baseball games for the rest of the season. It's a brutal watch, and I don't need to see Seth Johnson. I don't need to see Scott Blewett, Suarez. I don't need to see these guys pitch, man. It's brutal. So if you're doing it, my hat's off to you. You guys, true, just sickos. You're absolute sickos. So we appreciate you guys listening and watching. And make sure you like, subscribe, and comment on the video, and give us 5 stars if you're listening on audio. I'm out, man. Go A's. We'll see you guys maybe soon, and have a great rest of your week.
Go A's.